a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Twitter. Twitter is an American online news and social networking service on which users post and interact with messages known as tweets. Tweets were originally restricted to 140 characters, but on November 7, 2017, this limit was doubled for all languages except Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. Registered users can post tweets, but those who are unregistered can only read them. Users access Twitter through its website interface, through short message service or mobile device application software. Twitter Incorporated is based in San Francisco, California, and has more than 25 offices around the world. Twitter was created in March 2006 by Jack Dorsey, Noah Glass, Biz Stone, and Evan Williams and launched in July of that year. The service rapidly gained worldwide popularity. In 2012, more than 100 million users posted 340 million tweets a day, and the service handled an average of 1.6 billion search queries per day. In 2013, it was one of the 10 most visited websites and has been described as the SMS of the Internet. As of 2016, Twitter had more than 319 million monthly active users. On the day of the 2016 US presidential election, Twitter proved to be the largest source of breaking news, with 40 million election-related tweets sent by 10 p.m. that day. Creation and initial reaction. Twitter's origins lie in a day-long brainstorming session held by board members of the podcasting company Audio. Jack Dorsey, then an undergraduate student at New York University, introduced the idea of an individual using an SMS service to communicate with a small group. The original project codename for the service was TWTTR, an idea that Williams later ascribed to Noah Glass, inspired by Flickr and the 5-character length of American SMS shortcodes. The decision was also partly due to the fact that the domain twitter.com was already in use, and it was 6 months after the launch of TWTTR that the crew purchased the domain and changed the name of the service to Twitter. The developers initially considered 10,958 as a short code, but later changed it to 40,404 for ease of use and memorability. Work on the project started on March 21, 2006, when Dorsey published the first Twitter message at 9:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, just setting up my TWTTR. Dorsey has explained the origin of the Twitter title: "We came across the word Twitter, and it was just perfect. The definition was a short burst of inconsequential information, and chirps from birds. And that's exactly what the product was." The first Twitter prototype, developed by Dorsey and contractor Florian Weber, was used as an internal service for Audio employees, and the full version was introduced publicly on July 15, 2006. In October 2006, Biz Stone, Evan Williams, Dorsey, and other members of Audio formed Obvious Corporation and acquired Audio, together with its assets, including Audio.com and Twitter.com, from the investors and shareholders. Williams fired Glass, who was silent about his part in Twitter's startup until 2011. Twitter spun off into its own company in April 2007. Williams provided insight into the ambiguity that defined this early period in a 2013 interview. With Twitter, it wasn't clear what it was. They called it a social network, they called it microblogging, but it was hard to define, because it didn't replace anything. There was this path of discovery with something like that, where over time you figure out what it is. Twitter actually changed from what we thought it was in the beginning, which we described as status updates and a social utility. It is that, in part. But the insight we eventually came to was Twitter was really more of an information network than it is a social network. The tipping point for Twitter's popularity was the 2007 South by Southwest Interactive Conference. During the event, Twitter usage increased from 20,000 tweets per day to 60,000. The Twitter people cleverly placed two 60-inch plasma screens in the conference hallways, exclusively streaming Twitter messages. Remarked Newsweek's Stephen Levy. Hundreds of conference goers kept tabs on each other via constant Twitters. Panelists and speakers mentioned the service, and the bloggers in attendance touted it. Reaction at the conference was highly positive. Blogger Scott Beale said that Twitter was absolutely ruling. Social software researcher Dana Boyd said Twitter was owning the conference. Twitter staff received the festival's Web Award prize with the remark, "We'd like to thank you in 140 characters or less. And we just did." The first unassisted off-Earth Twitter message was posted from the International Space Station by NASA astronaut T.J. Creamer on January 22, 2010. By late November 2010, an average of a dozen updates per day were posted on the astronauts' communal account, at NASA_astronauts. NASA has also hosted over 25 tweet-ups, events that provide guests with VIP access to NASA facilities and speakers with the goal of leveraging participants' social networks to further the outreach goals of NASA. In August 2010, the company appointed Adam Bain from News Corp.'s Fox Audience Network as President of Revenue Growth. The company experienced rapid initial growth. It had 400,000 tweets posted per quarter in 2007. This grew to 100 million tweets posted per quarter in 2008. In February 2010, Twitter users were sending 50 million tweets per day. By March 2010, the company recorded over 70,000 registered applications. As of June 2010, about 65 million tweets were posted each day. Equally about 750 tweets sent each second, according to Twitter. As of March 2011, there was about 140 million tweets posted daily, as noted on Compete.com. Twitter moved up to the third highest-ranking social networking site in January 2009 from its previous rank of 22nd. Twitter's usage spikes during prominent events. For example, a record was set during the 2010 FIFA World Cup when fans wrote 2,940 tweets per second in the 30-second period after Japan scored against Cameroon on June 14. The record was broken again when 3,085 tweets per second were posted after the Los Angeles Lakers' victory in the 2010 NBA Finals on June 17. And then again at the close of Japan's victory over Denmark in the World Cup when users published 3,283 tweets per second. The record was set again during the 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup final between Japan and the United States, when 7,196 tweets per second were published. When American singer Michael Jackson died on June 25, 2009. Twitter servers crashed after users were updating their status to include the words, "Michael Jackson," at a rate of 100,000 tweets per hour. The current record as of August 3, 2013 was set in Japan, with 143,199 tweets per second during a television screening of the movie Castle in the Sky. Twitter acquired application developer AtBits on April 11, 2010. AtBits had developed the Apple Design Award-winning Twitter client Tweety for the Mac and iPhone. The application, now called Twitter, and distributed free of charge, is the official Twitter client for the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. From September through October 2010, the company began rolling out New Twitter, an entirely revamped edition of Twitter.com. Changes included the ability to see pictures and videos without leaving Twitter itself by clicking on individual tweets which contain links to images and clips from a variety of supported websites including YouTube and Flickr, and a complete overhaul of the interface, which shifted links such as mentions and retweets above the Twitter stream, while messages and logout became accessible via a black bar at the very top of Twitter.com. As of November 1, 2010, the company confirmed that the new Twitter experience had been rolled out to all users. 2011-2014. On April 5, 2011, Twitter tested a new homepage and phased out the old Twitter. However, a glitch came about after the page was launched, so the previous, retro homepage was still in use until the issues were resolved. The new homepage was reintroduced on April 20. On December 8, 2011, Twitter overhauled its website once more to feature the Fly design, which the service says is easier for new users to follow and promotes advertising. In addition to the Home tab, the Connect and Discover tabs were introduced along with a redesigned profile and timeline of tweets. The site's layout has been compared to that of Facebook. On February 21, 2012, it was announced that Twitter and Yandex agreed to a partnership. Yandex, a Russian search engine, finds value within the partnership due to Twitter's real-time news feeds. Twitter's Director of Business Development explained that it is important to have Twitter content where Twitter users go. On March 21, 2012, Twitter celebrated its 6th birthday while also announcing that it had 140 million users and 340 million tweets per day. The number of users was up 40% from their September 2011 number, which was said to have been at 100 million at the time. In April 2012, Twitter announced that it was opening an office in Detroit, with the aim of working with automotive brands and advertising agencies. Twitter also expanded its office in Dublin. On June 5, 2012, a modified logo was unveiled through the company blog, removing the text to showcase the slightly redesigned bird as the sole symbol of Twitter. On October 5, 2012, Twitter acquired a video clip company called Vine that launched in January 2013. Twitter released Vine as a standalone app that allows users to create and share 6-second looping video clips on January 24, 2013. Vine videos shared on Twitter are visible directly in users' Twitter feeds. Due to an influx of inappropriate content, it is now rated 17+ in Apple's App Store. On December 18, 2012, Twitter announced it had surpassed 200 million monthly active users. Twitter hit 100 million monthly active users in September 2011. On January 28, 2013, Twitter acquired Crashlytics in order to build out its mobile developer products. On April 18, 2013, Twitter launched a music app called Twitter Music for the iPhone. On August 28, 2013, Twitter acquired Trend, followed by the acquisition of Mopub on September 9, 2013. As of September 2013, the company's data showed that 200 million users send over 400 million tweets daily, with nearly 60% of tweets sent from mobile devices. On June 4, 2014, Twitter announced that it will acquire Namer Media, a technology firm specializing in native advertising for mobile devices. On June 19, 2014, Twitter announced that it has reached an undisclosed deal to buy Snappy TV, a service that helps edit and share video from television broadcasts. The company was helping broadcasters and rights holders to share video content both organically across social and via Twitter's Amplify program. In July 2014, Twitter announced that it intends to buy a young company called CardSpring for an undisclosed sum. CardSpring enables retailers to offer online shoppers coupons that they can automatically sync to their credit cards in order to receive discounts when they shop in physical stores. On July 31, 2014, Twitter announced that it has acquired a small password security startup called Mitro. On October 29, 2014, Twitter announced a new partnership with IBM. The partnership is intended to help businesses use Twitter data to understand their customers, businesses and other trends. 2015 and slow growth. On February 11, 2015, Twitter announced that it had acquired Niche, an advertising network for social media stars, founded by Rob Fishman and Darren Lackman. The acquisition price was reportedly $50 million. On March 13, 2015, Twitter announced its acquisition of Periscope, an app that allows live streaming of video. In April 2015, the Twitter.com desktop homepage changed. Twitter announced that it has acquired Telepart, a commerce ads tech firm, with $532 million stock. Later in the year it became apparent that growth had slowed. According to Fortune, Business Insider, Marketing Land and other news websites including Quartz. In June 2016, Twitter acquired an artificial intelligence startup called Magic Pony for $150 million. Initial Public Offering, IPO. On September 12, 2013, Twitter announced that it had filed papers with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission ahead of a planned stock market listing. It revealed its prospectus in an 800-page filing. Twitter planned to raise $1 billion as the basis for its stock market debut. The IPO filing states that 200,000,000 plus monthly active users access Twitter and 500,000,000 plus tweets per day are posted. In an October 15, 2013 amendment to their SEC S-1 filing, Twitter declared that they would list on the New York Stock Exchange, quashing speculation that their stock would trade on the Nasdaq exchange. This decision was widely viewed to be a reaction to the botched initial public offering of Facebook. On November 6, 2013, 70 million shares were priced at $26 and issued by lead underwriter Goldman Sachs. On November 7, 2013, the first day of trading on the NYSE, Twitter shares opened at $26 and closed at $44.90, giving the company a valuation of around $31 billion. The paperwork from show of November 7 that among the founders, Williams received a sum of $2.56 billion and Dorsey received $1.05 billion, while Costello's payment was $345 million. On February 5, 2014, Twitter published its first results as a public company, showing a net loss of $511 million in the fourth quarter of 2013. On January 5, 2016, CEO Jack Dorsey commented on a report that Twitter planned to expand its character limit to 10,000, requiring users to click to see anything beyond 140 characters. He said while Twitter would never lose that feeling of speed, users could do more with the text. In September 2016, Twitter shares rose 20% after a report that it had received takeover approaches. Potential buyers were Alphabet, Microsoft, Salesforce.com, Verizon, and the Walt Disney Company. Twitter's board of directors were open to a deal, which could have come by the end of 2016. However, no deal was made, with reports in October stating that all the potential buyers dropped out partly due to concerns over abuse and harassment on the service. In June 2017, Twitter revamped its dashboard to improve the new user experience. Leadership. As Chief Executive Officer, Dorsey saw the startup through 2 rounds of capital funding by the venture capitalists who backed the company. On October 16, 2008, Williams took over the role of CEO, and Dorsey became chairman of the board. On October 4, 2010, Williams announced that he was stepping down as CEO. Dick Costolo, formerly Twitter's chief operating officer, became CEO. On October 4, 2010, Williams made an announcement saying that he will stay with the company and be completely focused on product strategy. According to the New York Times, Mr. Dorsey and Mr. Costello forged a close relationship when Williams was away. According to PC Magazine, Williams was no longer involved in the day-to-day goings-on at the company. He was focused on developing a new startup and became a member of Twitter's board of directors, and promised to help in any way I can. In 2011, Stone was still with Twitter, but was working with AOL as an advisor on volunteer efforts and philanthropy. In January 2014, Stone announced the release of Jelly, a social calendar network for mobile. Dorsey rejoined Twitter in March 2011 as executive chairman, focusing on product development. At that time he split his schedule with Square, whose offices are within walking distance of Twitter's in San Francisco. In September 2011, board members and investors Fred Wilson and Bijan Sabeh resigned from Twitter's board of directors. In October 2012, Twitter announced it had hired former Google executive Matt D'Rella to become their new director of business agency development. Twitter named former Goldman Sachs executive Anthony Noto as the company's CFO in July 2014. With an annual salary of $250,000 and one-time restricted stock options of 1.5 million shares, valued at $61.5 million. On June 10, 2015, Twitter announced its CEO Dick Costolo would resign on July 1, 2015. Noto was said to be considered a potential replacement for outgoing CEO Costello. On October 14, 2015, former Google Chief Business Officer Omid Kordestani became executive chairman, replacing Dorsey, who remains CEO. On January 26, 2016, Leslie Berland, former executive vice president of global advertising, marketing, and digital partnerships at American Express, was named chief marketing officer. In November 2016, COO Adam Bain announced his resignation and CFO Anthony Noto took over Bain's role. A month later, on December 20, 2016, CTO Adam Messenger announced that he too was leaving. Logo. Twitter has become internationally identifiable by its signature bird logo, or the Twitter bird. The original logo, which was simply the word Twitter, was in use from its launch in March 2006 until September 2010. It was accompanied by an image of a bird, which was a piece of clip art created by the British graphic designer Simon Oxley. A slightly modified version with Larry the Bird next to the old logo succeeded the first style when the website underwent its first redesign. A tweet from an employee that works on the company's platform and API discussed the evolution of the Larry the Bird logo with Twitter's creative director, and it was revealed that it was named after Larry Bird of the NBA's Boston Celtics fame. This detail had been confirmed when the Boston Celtics director of interactive media asked Twitter co-founder Biz Stone about it in August 2011. In 2012, Twitter unveiled its third logo redesign, replacing Larry the Bird with an updated icon simply named as the Twitter Bird, as seen to the right. As of this logo revision, the word Twitter and the lowercase letter t are no longer used, with the bird becoming the sole symbol for the company's branding. According to Douglas Bowman, designer of Twitter, the new logo resembles a mountain bluebird. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to